Quizmaster Challenge is dedicated to the memory of our director, John Horvat. Here with us from the beginning and here with us until the very end. Thanks, John.
The following program is produced by Montgomery County Public Schools and is underwritten in part by the Montgomery County Teachers Federal Credit Union. MCT has been serving the financial needs of the community since 1950 and is your financial alternative. And by Gladiator Trophies and Awards in Gaithersburg. We promise quality and dependability. It's Quizmaster Challenge, the show where you can test your wits against teams from Montgomery County high schools. And here's your Quizmaster, Kevin Keegan.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Quizmaster Challenge, Montgomery County's own high school quiz show. Here now starting our 19th season. I'm Kevin Keegan. Great to have you with us. Throughout our first round of play, you at home will have the chance to match wits with some of Montgomery County Public Schools' top academic talent. As the best and brightest young scholars come to our studio here at Seneca Valley High School, the John R. Horvat Memorial Studio here at Seneca Valley High School, for our Battle of the Brains competition. This game marks the first game of our 2006-2007 season, and what a matchup we have as the Blue Devils of Springbrook take on the Cavaliers of John F. Kennedy, the winner earning an automatic bid to the round of 12 playoffs here on Quizmaster Challenge. Now let's meet the starting lineups for today's first round match, beginning with Springbrook High School. First for the Blue Devils is Stephen Feister. He's a 16-year-old junior in his first year on our show. Up next is the captain, Esther French. She's a 17-year-old senior in her first year of televised competition. Now meet Jessica Gonzalez, a 17-year-old senior in her first year on our show. And rounding out the squad is the anchor of the team, Ellen Goodall. She's a 16-year-old senior, also making her first Quizmaster Challenge start. The Springbrook team is prepared by social studies teacher Dr. Maura Ryan. She's a Siena College graduate back in her 9th season guiding the Blue Devils. Let's go up top now and meet the young scholars and coach for John F. Kennedy. First for the Cavaliers is Russ Barthold. He's a 17-year-old senior in his second year as a starter. Up next, the captain, Rachel Solomon. She's a 17-year-old senior in her first year on our show. Now meet Julia Bernstein, a 17-year-old senior in her second year of televised competition. And rounding out the squad is the anchor of this team, Jonathan Musicant, a 17-year-old senior making his first Quizmaster Challenge start. This John F. Kennedy team is prepared by U.S. and world history teacher Brian Beaubien, a University of Maryland Baltimore County graduate in this, his second season guiding the Cavaliers. Good luck to both teams' players as we begin the match with the Four Corners round, the only non-competitive round in Quizmaster Challenge. You know how it goes. You'll have the chance to answer blocks of 4 questions each, and you'll earn 20 points for each correct response. Based on our coin flip before today's match, it'll be Springbrook High School making the first selection, Captain French and her Blue Devil teammates choosing from these Four Corners topics. At sea level, only in October, looking at literature, 18th century Americans. Captain French, your selection, please.
At sea level?
For your first chance at 20 points in At Sea Level, identify the green pigment found in many plants that enables them to carry on the process of photosynthesis as they trap and store the energy in sunlight.
Chlorophyll?
Good for 20 points. For another 20, identify the 20th century pioneering environmentalist and one-time resident of Silver Spring here in Montgomery County, whose major works include Silent Spring, The Edge of the Sea, and The Sea Around Us.
Rachel Carson.
Good for 20 more. Tell me now the name of the Portuguese navigator who in the year 1500, on his way supposedly to India, was blown off course and landed in South America, thus claiming the coast of Brazil for his native country. Can you take it? Pedro Cabral there, so no points there. And we close out the category At Sea Level as you identify the noted college in England that's the academic rival to Oxford and which shares its name with the city across the Charles River from Boston where one could visit such impressive schools as Harvard and MIT here in the U.S.
Cambridge.
So 60 out of 80 for Springbrook High School on the first part of the Four Corners. We're up top now to John F. Kennedy High School, Captain Solomon choosing from one of our 3 remaining Four Corners topics. Captain?
Only in October.
For your first chance at 20 points, only in October, we note that October the 1st, 1880, sees the appointment as conductor of the Marine Corps Marching Band of what composer, noted for such works as Stars and Stripes Forever and the Washington Post March?
Sousa.
John Philip Sousa, good for 20. For another 20, we note that October the 4, 1943, saw the first French territory freed from Nazi control, as Allied forces during World War II liberated what Mediterranean island, perhaps best known as the birthplace of Napoleon, in 1769. Can you take it?
Cyprus?
It was Corsica, no points there. We now note that the Iraqi government in October 2003 replaced Saddam Hussein's image on the 25,000 dinar note with the picture of what ancient Babylonian ruler, generally credited with creating the first written code of laws in the 18th century BC.
Hammurabi?
Is correct. And to close this category only in October, we note that October the 20th, 1973, will forever remain known as the date of the Saturday Night Massacre, as what 37th U.S. President discharged Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox during the investigations into the Watergate break-in. Can you take it? Kennedy, do you have an answer? It was
Reagan?
It was Richard Nixon. So 40 out of 80. Based on the rules of Quizmaster Challenge, Captain Solomon now makes a selection from one of our two remaining Four Corners topics, and those questions will be read back to Springbrook High School. Captain, your selection?
18th century Americans.
Here you go, Springbrook. 18th century Americans identify the firebrand in Virginia's House of Burgesses, noted for his Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death speech, who later served as the first post-colonial governor of Virginia.
Patrick Henry.
Good for 20. For another 20, identify the colonial officer in the Continental Army as head of the Green Mountain Boys who demanded the surrender of Fort Ticonderoga, quote, in the name of the great Jehovah and the Continental Congress, close quote, in 1775.
Ethan Allen.
Good for 20 more. Tell me now the name of the Virginia aristocrat who served in George Washington's cabinet in two different capacities, as the first Attorney General in 1789 and as the second Secretary of State on Thomas Jefferson's resignation in 1793. Can you?
Madison.
It was Edmund Randolph there, so no points. And we close out this category on 18th century Americans as we note that South Carolinian Francis Marion used hit-and-run guerrilla tactics during the Revolutionary War to earn what nickname that made it sound as though he were a member of the Vulpes family living in wetland areas.